Can you make some noise if you know what Juneteenth is? Can you make some noise if you've read the Juneteenth Proclamation, General Order Number 3? So this is the order that was printed when the soldiers went down to Galveston, Texas. The order that was printed in papers and read aloud. In that order, again, these are some of the last people. As we know, slavery continued even after this proclamation, and still to this day. In the proclamation, they said essentially, y'all free now, but don't go nowhere. They said that the relationship between the enslaved now. The slaves are between, from being enslaved to worker and employers. Your relationship with your master is now shifted. And then they also said, remain here because you will not be allowed to gather in public. Don't come to the military bases because we won't protect you. And so this is what was put out there as an announcement of freedom, right? Immediately we shifted from a slave relationship to a worker-employer relationship. And I think it's important to contextualize that order in that way. Because what do we have going on here today when we think about what it means to be free? There are these little moments that we get at freedom, right, where we feel most free and all that. I think those are more sought after when we have the absence of true freedom and sovereignty. And so very easily we say I feel most free when this happens because I got to get back to work. I gotta go slave so I don't fucking die. I can't afford this food if not for I can't afford this shelter, this healthcare, so on and so forth. And that too is not freedom, this thing that we're existing in. It doesn't have to be that way. And so I just wanted to offer that before some poems. I try to start poems with 2 objective facts. The first objective fact, it's real dramatic to take off your jacket when you on stage. You about to get down with this. I sweat very easily, so I don't want to start performing and then start profusely sweating, that's all. The first objective fact, banana flavor is disgusting. Banana flavor everything, absolutely disgusting. The second objective fact, it's okay to shoot back at cops. The black artist's role in America is to aid in the destruction of America as he knows it. Amiri Baraka. I'm from Akron, Ohio, but currently I live just east of a contradiction. Clumps of knotted human hair skip excitedly over sidewalk cracks in pairs. Screeching tires scrape murals into over-patrolled crosswalk paint. City trimmers and zip codes shaken loose from indigenous childhoods. Colonialism don't respect finders keepers. All's fair in genocide except self-defense. There are humans too familiar with the politics of thunderstorm forecasts. Squalor sitting right next door to neighborhood-sized apartment building. There's half-empty baby bottles rolling over broken glass under the freeway. There's dead grass, grappling with the distance between beating hearts, piles of repurposed couch cushions, and bench warrants covered in sewage. Climate crisis is disgusted by how many civilians we pile on the curb. While profits skyrocket for empty housing units, while a high-rise falls out the chapped lips of an investor, I'm not really sure how leasing works. I got my degree in human decency. I'm not really up on the latest ethics for ownership. All my comrades keep space on the couch and a spare blanket. We push the weight limits of a Honda Civic and there is always room. Wednesday is a good excuse to shoplift under capitalism. Yesterday was sufficient evidence to stack bricks outside the courthouse. Yesterday was sufficient evidence to stack bricks outside the mayor's kitchen window. 1970s criminal records are waiting for academics and artists to put on work boots. I'm not sure what's legal and what's tradition anymore, but at some point, y'all, sick of this shit has got to lead us to get rid of city council, lest we be made of plastic promises too. Lest the young have a bone to pick, lest that bone come from our inactive skeletons, lest there be no land left to pick a fight on. I blame the suffering last for how we survived the winter. I blame the governor for flooded highways and raining ash. I blame poverty on vegan diet commercials and yoga studios. I blame police for lead pipes and poison middle school history lessons. I blame police for all the mornings my father bit his tongue on the job. I blame police for my lazy eye twitch and my obsessive desire to produce. I blamed the sheriff's office last week when I stubbed my toe. It left this iron star-shaped blood stain in my sock. I said I'm from Akron, Ohio. Does the name Jalen Walker seem familiar to anybody? Couple folks. So Jalen Walker is a 25-year-old black boy murdered last June by Akron Pigs. There was 8 officers involved. They shot 90 shots and 46 hit Jalen. I was telling someone a joke recently. I said, it's been a year and the city of Akron still hasn't named the 8 officers who murdered Jalen. In response, this person said, they said, you know he shot at the police, right? You know he might not have had his hands up. You know he was not up to date on his YMCA membership. You know he did not mentor at-risk teenagers after school. You know his license was suspended and his tail lights shattered. You know he wasn't wearing a lick of white when they found him. Had his pants sagging, had his shirt untucked, had his lips unbuckled, dripping southern twang all on the concrete. It sounded like a mouthful of honeybees was stuck at the top of his throat. You know he was black. Like black, like dark roast coffee beans, black like ashy knuckles, cradling a bottle of wild Irish rose on the sidewalk, black like scarecrow, perched just outside that liquor store doorway, black like purple tar gums and gold teeth. Like paper bag hands and menthol breath, like empty Black and Mild wrappers stuffed in the glove compartment. I heard it wasn't even blood where they left him. I heard it was just stains of red Kool-Aid. I heard it was just puddles of strawberry pop fizz. You know, sugar would have got him if 12 didn't. You know his teeth were little yellowing daggers. You know he was a dragon, returned fire, went out in a puff of smoke. You know he was a weapon, didn't beg for his life or call for his mother or his partner. You know that nigga went out on his feet, brought a gun to a gunfight, brought mutiny to a slave ship at the Atlantic shoreline. You know that nigga was a nigga. And not like, ha, nigga. Not like next Democratic presidential nominee, nigga. Not like run fast, jump high, nigga. Like worm food covered in tree bark. Like lead water clogging an artery, like dead leaves stuck in a gutter, like storm the arsenal and shoot the masters. He was one of those give me liberty or give me blood types. That nigga had the nerve to want freedom and then go do something about it and still. Let me guess, y'all gonna march for him? What would Malcolm X's old zoot suit think? What would a white woman's rendition of Dr. King think? What would the noose say? What if they see us marching and think we just as dangerous as him? What if I say liberation and they think I mean I hate America? What if I hate America but don't know no other homeland? Shit, what if America hates me back and does something about it, but doesn't leave me time to shoot first? If I'm caught between a badge and a hard place, 3 hours after the street lights turn on, will y'all church it? Will y'all pass it along pews of almost saints until it reaches the whole congregation? Will you tithe it? Will you stretch it thin, like goat skin over the shell of a djembe drum? Will you slap it? Will you let the echo dance naked in the wet cave of your throat? Will you bark it? Will you sing it like my mother is listening? Will you inhale until your lungs nearly burst, then inhale some more, then inhale some more, then and only then will you say my name? Will you put some stank on it? Will you juke joint James Brown it? Will you Jerry Curl spray it? How can I rest in peace or power? If y'all get all lazy lipped when you're talking about me, will you scoop it thick? Will you stir it slow? Will you mac and cheese it? Will you to spread the savory over your tongue? Will you let it marinate? Will you serve it with Sunday dinner if you say my name? And cast iron skillets don't start to rattling, that mean you ain't say it loud enough. Will you say it again? If a redwood don't split open from the trunk, that mean you ain't pronounce it right. Will you say it again? Will you redecorate this city in streams of fire after me? Will you paint downtown a scorching hue? Will you stain this sky in black smoke? Will you tell ghost stories over the ashes of this empire? Will you scream it? Will you stand out in the clutter of some rush hour traffic to let these motherfuckers know what kind of boots I wore? Will you stomp it into the soil of the last place where I laughed with my whole body? Will you dance it? Will you Saturday night praise it? Will you tambourine it? Will you drunken favorite song shout it? Will you full moon howl? Will you shriek? Will you moan? Will you chant? Will you live? Will you fight? Will y'all cry? Will you cry for me? Will you? Stage. I appreciate you. I put something on Facebook. I don't go on Facebook anymore, but I told folks that if you were white, you should send me $1,000. I have yet to receive that $1,000. So if you are white in the audience today, you should give me $1,000.